Here at Unscripted with Daniel, I want democracy to work. I am trying to stand up for justice in the ways that I can. I covered the Valparaiso Human Rights Council and its importance in protecting the marginalized. I talked with local PhD political scientists to talk about the state of our democracy, to learn about what we can do as people to make us have a better society, despite the sorry state of our democracy. And I covered the Million Bob March that aims to bring back funding for PBS with the joy of protest. And now we covered the threat to free speech as an effect of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'll continue to cover topics like these with the ultimate aim being to empower through information. With that being said, there are so many topics, like I said, that don't quite fit this topic I was just talking about, but are really important, so I want to go over those. I want to talk about the concerted effort to cement one-party rule for the right wing. The Supreme Court has been given a case that involves the Voting Rights Act, specifically the second section of the VRA that prevents the suppression of representation of a race or color by forbidding gerrymandering that would effectively prevent that race from electing representatives of that race's choice. This is basically just another tool in the right-wing authoritarian playbook to make it so that they can cement their rule. If they can suppress those groups of people or any group of people based on race, then they can cement their foothold in our elections for generations. While people are protesting this dictator, the Supreme Court is deciding on this case right now. It's not just President Trump. If they state that adding another district for representation of African Americans is not constitutional, then essentially Section 2 of the VRA has been chipped away. According to legal experts, this will have nationwide and lasting effects. There are so many fronts on which our rights are being eroded. Our rights to vote and to have fair representation, the right to fair trial and due process, and the right to free speech are all under attack. While there are attacks on our rights, we have a complete restructuring of the government where the executive is unaccountable to anyone, it seems, where the president can just say, you know what, we're going to get rid of this program, and he's not going to wait for Congress to say so. And then we have the Supreme Court saying that when the president is doing anything, as long as it is actions that are related to the presidency, then they can't be prosecuted for it. This was the decision they reached when talking about the actions that the president took on January 6th. Then, of course, we have the executive firing of government employees, shutting down programs, denying of aid for things that have already been decided upon by Congress, as we already went over, whereas the process is meant to be Congress spends the money and the president can veto it at the time of passage of the spending. He's not following the process because he has no respect for the balance of powers that America's founders created. His only interest is, let's be honest, money. So it should be no surprise that Trump's cabinet is filled with billionaires that would love nothing more than to destroy government programs, even if it harms American citizens, just so that they can step in to privatize and profit from their poverty. They're just playing the game called capitalism. In the end, just a few people get to decide the fate of the entire government. It's an oligarchy, plain and simple. And oligarchies are not just. There's a reason why there are laws against monopolies. Our government seems to overlook it, though, because they enjoy the big dollar donations enabled by Citizens United, and currently they have, the Trump administration, gutted the safeguards against monopolies that the Biden administration had put in place. Lina Khan, being one of the greatest defenders against monopolies, was part of the FTC and basically let go by the Trump administration. So we can see where they're going with this. They want companies to be able to endlessly acquire other smaller companies and cause there to be less and less competition so that they can, the companies, charge as much as they want, costing the consumer more. the competitiveness is lost and it costs the consumer. It only serves one corporate interest and probably just a few donations. And once that company actually wins, guess what? They have no reason to give you any more donations except to maybe go easy on them on our taxes. But given that that's the case, that it's all about money, it seems, in this administration, and perhaps even going forward if people don't stand up. This means that people of little means, with a perspective of the working class, more often than not are not going to be represented. So it's no wonder these days that the minimum wage has not changed since 2009. There once was an American dream where all could prosper, where the station of your birth didn't define you, instead your hard work did. And many people I know share this same dream and want to make it a reality. And this is what inspires me at Unscripted with Daniel. This is what I want to fight for. So I just want to thank you for listening to this program so far, and I want to continue to put out programs that do empower people with information. Thank you so much. This has been Daniel Dunevant on Unscripted with Daniel, and I'll catch you next time.